Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Breck Show, and I'm starting a little bit late this evening because I was tired as hell, and you're probably tired of hearing me say I'm tired as hell when I do some videos, but this is what happens when you work graveyard shift and you get a little bit of free time in your hands and you do these videos at kind of like odd hours. I'm wearing a little bit of green today. I should have wore solid green, but this is green because in commemoration and in solidarity with the Green Party of North Carolina, or shall I say the North Carolina Green Party, because they're back on the ballot. They are back on the ballot, and as I say, it is quite awesome news for me because we need more choices out there. It's just. We don't need to have just the two-party duopoly all the time. It's really tiresome. So, hear this on Twitter from Matthew Hoh, who's the Green Party candidate running for the U.S. Senate. And he says, this is from a few days ago. He says, we passed the required number of signatures needed for the North Carolina Green Party to be on the ballot in North Carolina. Thank you thank you to the thousands who have supported us, and thank you to all the amazing party and campaign members who made this possible. And here it is. Here's the petition search, North Carolina State Board of Elections. And here you got it. North Carolina Green Party requires signatures, 13,865 signatures. We have 100 counties in North Carolina. 18,572 were were checked in, and what was required is 13,942. So there were balloted rather, and so the threshold went through. We passed through. One of my signatures made it happen too, and I circulated a few myself whenever I had a chance. I was going to do some aggressive work for the party, but they would just have to realize I work graveyard shifts. So anyway, filing date, effective filing date. Basically, you can just register right away, and it expires June 1st, 2024. So hopefully, the Green Party will be on the ballot in the year 2024 for the presidential election. So congratulations to the North Carolina Green Party. I will be re-registering as a Green, as right now I am unaffiliated. I am. So anyway, I want to talk about Matthew Howe. Matthew Hoh. Matthew Hoh, that's how you pronounce his name. He's a veteran of the war in Afghanistan. And so he's the Green Party candidate running for the U.S. Senate. And let me get a photo here of him. So you'll know who I'm referring to. And let's see, right there. Good. Let me get that ready over here. I'm just going to have to get better software. So, but let's do this here. All right. This is Matthew Howe. He's the Green Party candidate running for the U.S. Senate. So if you're anti-war and you're wanting a green policy and you're wanting Medicare for all and you're wanting workers' rights and you're wanting basically the nice things that our counterparts in Western Europe and other Western countries have, and even many in the developing world have, that we, for some reason, can't have here in the United States, the dark side of American exceptionalism. Well, the two-party system isn't cutting the mustard. So this is absolutely why we need more choices. If anything, a third-party choice pressures the one of the two more dominant parties to try to do what is called the right thing. So Matthew Howe is, as I said, he's running for the U.S. Senate, and I'm going to donate, and I'm planning to vote for him. And if you live in North Carolina, I urge each and every one of you to register as a Green, and to go ahead and to vote for Matthew Hoh. So also we got an endorsement already for Matthew Hoh. So it's my pleasure to put up the endorsement right now. So nice little 39-second blurb. Here we go. You probably know this guy, Lee Camp. Here we go.
Everybody, I really hope you support Matt. These are pivotal times. We're at a fork in the road. And, I've known Matt for a while now, and such an incredible person and such a hard fighter. And, he's seen the things that I hope none of us have to see. And that's why he's doing it. And, so if you're able to, please support him.
Okay. I was already convinced to vote for Matthew Hoh, but the league camp made the endorsement, even more enticing to do. So that just made my mind even more. So I say, we that's exactly what we need to do, because if you think about it, I mean, what other, if you live in North Carolina, what other choices do you have in November? I mean, when it comes to the dominant parties, I mean, what you got? You got these two clowns here. You got Republican, what was his name? Ted Budd from the 13th Congressional District in North Carolina, around the Winston-Salem area, actually around where Matthew Hoh lives. And then you got Cheri Beasley, who is the Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court. And she's a down-the-line Democrat, maybe a little bit better than what North Carolina may run as far as Democratic candidates, but still a little bit too much of an establishment Democrat. Maybe, probably to the left of a Chuck Schumer, but probably to the right of Elizabeth Warren. And that's just a little bit too conservative for me, as far as I am concerned. Anything to the left of Chuck Schumer and to the right of Elizabeth Warren is still right wing. So she's not an option for me. Now, obviously, Ted Budd is the worst, because for Ted Budd, he's basically called the 2020 election a fraud. I don't like Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden's a piece of shit. I go with the slogan, let's go Brandon, but I say let's go Brandon from the left. Right-wing critiques of the Democrats and right-wing critiques of Joe Biden are all illegitimate and bullshit. Only left-wing critiques of the Democrats and only left-wing critiques of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's the only criticism of Democrats that's legitimate, because the Democrats are too conservative. Joe Biden is too conservative. Kamala Harris is too conservative. And a few things that they're very, very ultra liberal on are things that they're very counterproductive and can actually even harm the progressive movement down the road. So another thing about Ted Budd is that he is opposed to the For the People Act, the Voting Act, that would extend voting rights. Of course he would be. So, and he opposed the National Defense Authorization Act of 2021, which allowed for the withdrawal from Afghanistan. The one large action on a foreign policy level by Joe Biden that I would have to give him credit for. I mean, all these shitty things that every president do on a foreign policy level, I mean, there's always maybe one little shining light or positive thing that all of them might be capable of doing for the better. Even Ronald Reagan, who's like hardly a model, when he started negotiating with Mikhail Gorbachev and they started to decide to start to limit nuclear weapons. That was actually a good thing. I don't give Reagan credit for it, because it took a reformer but like Mikhail Gorbachev to get the ball rolling in that regard, because Reagan was a warmonger in a lot of ways, but strangely enough, significantly less of a warmonger than George W. Bush. Again, George W. Bush will always be the worst president ever. I mean, in modern times, actually, and I'm not being partisan. Another president that could match how horrible George W. Bush would be Woodrow Wilson in many ways. Woodrow Wilson, and maybe even probably worse in some ways, because for those who don't know about Woodrow Wilson, historically he was very, very racist and very, very anti-civil libertarian. ACLU was created as a response to the Woodrow Wilson's authoritarian measures, by the way. But that's kind of an aside point, a little bit of history for later on. So anyway, why am I having these two folks up there? I'm not interested in Ted Budd and Cheri Beasley. I really am not. There we go. Anyway, we have here on the chat line, Hot Retarded Chicks. How are you today? I am glad you're here. I am. So always a pleasure seeing you here. And as I said, the Green Party's back on the ballot in North Carolina, and I'm very happy about that. And it just is a very wonderful occasion. And I urge people to always do the third party thing if they can. I mean, just always do the third party thing, because Tim Black says it best when he says both parties suck Johnson, and never truer words I've heard. And is kind of like a motto I've been living by for the most part. Sometimes with my burning a bus mentality, I've been accused of taking almost a Chapo Trap House mindset of rejecting basically electoral politics altogether. I mean, it's sometimes very tempting, especially when choices are very limited, as it's historically been in North Carolina, because we used to have one of the most draconian ballot access laws in the United States. It was right up there. But several years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, North Carolina restructured it. It's still a little bit stricter than I like it to be, but it's a little bit better than it used to be. I'll take an improvement over what we had previously, because I remember when I was in the Socialist Party USA, we used to have to go and do a signature process to get 500 ballot signatures to put our candidate as a certified write-in on the ballot. And the Green Party had to do the same thing, and some of the other smaller third parties, and that was significantly unfair. So anyway, we have here, comments that, are you a Green Party member? I was a registered Green until the Green Party got kicked off the ballot in North Carolina. And the Board of Elections says has something to do with COVID. They came up with some kind of bullshit like that. But it's back on the ballot. The Green Party's back on the ballot. So there you have it. I was in that in-between time, I was unaffiliated. I mean, if there was an actual Labor Party in this country, that would be ideal for me. But Greens are comes closest pretty much right now as far as viable parties are concerned. They come closest ideologically right now as far as anything outside the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is America's second conservative party. Let's see here. Black Party and Pirate Party. Okay. And if you all like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. And remember, we have a class war to wage. We must oppose military interventionism at all costs, because all military interventionism It's just something to fatten the pockets of military defense contractors and keep this whole thing that Eisenhower warned us about called the military-industrial complex. We have to support absolute free speech, because when we do, we're also supporting our own damn free speech, which means that we have to defend the freedom of the press. And as long as people like Julian Assange is in prison, none of us are free. And that means we're all Julian Assange. Until next time, I will conclude by saying what I normally like to say at the end of this program, and that is music. Take care.